My name is Josh Cochran. I work as an illustrator.
There is a bit of a meditative aspect to working traditionally that you just don't quite get when you're drawing on an iPad Pro.
There's no Twitter, there's no Instagram, or I can't check my email or whatever. I'm just sort of like in this zone. I grew up in Taiwan, and I come from a Chinese mother and American father. I started drawing at a very early age. I was always sort of encouraged to work in a sketchbook. I went to a missionary school. I grew up really sheltered in terms of art. I just was exposed to a lot of Disney movies, also Tintin comics. Essentially, Tintin is just like two dots and a line. It really opened my mind a little bit in the way that comics could be. I see that influence now so much in my own work. I'm really attracted to the idea of having a very simple character and a really sort of lush, detailed world that this character can live in. In art school, I was influenced a lot by Seymour Quast and Milton Glaser, that whole pushpin aesthetic of New York graphic design. Back in the 60s and 70s, I'm attracted to things that are very bold, and I like colors that are on the edge of hurting your eyes in a way. If I can have that balance of something that's a little bit vibrant and peaceful and calm. I like to have both things in my work. I came to New York right after art school. Stephen Heller at the New York Times Book Review gave me my first job, essentially. And a lot of people saw my work, and this sort of led to bigger advertising jobs and also the murals and installations that I do now. I got my first mural project on a side of a building in Copenhagen. It turned out pretty okay, but probably not the best mural I've ever done. But I just kept on doing it. I talked to more people and tried to get more walls. I've done mostly interiors at this point, a lot of installations, and recently worked with the New York Transit Museum. I have a sort of a back catalog, like an alphabet of characters that I like to draw, and it's nice to, once I get into the mode of things, to just sort of be unself-conscious about my marks and kind of let loose. The flow state. The flow state is a much desired state to be in, and usually it's when I'm pretty panicked and also simultaneously unaware of how much time has gone past. I tend to get a little bored when I'm just doing one type of project all the time. In the beginning of my career, I was doing a lot of just editorial work, and I found that that made my work a little bit stagnant. But when I have gone out into the world, and also when people are able to interact a little bit with what I paint or what I draw, then I really feel inspired by that. Eric Skillman, the art director at Criterion Collection, found me somehow. It was such a fortunate pairing. I've been really into movies for a long, long time. The two covers that I have done, Shallow Grave and also Wise Blood, I had quite a different approach for both of them.
Where you come from is gone. Where you thought you were going to weren't never there. And where you are ain't no good unless you can get away from it.
Wise Blood was the first one that I worked with Eric on, and it was a really, really intense film.
There ain't any such a thing as any new Jesus. That wasn't nothing but a way of saying something. Holy,
Growing up religious, there was a lot of things about the film that I could relate to, and also a lot of things that greatly disturbed me.
What do you do?
I'm a preacher.
What church?
Church of Truth Without Christ.
It's funny because a lot of the things that I end up drawing or painting are a little bit lighter, or they're kind of funny or humorous. And I love that Eric found me to do something that was a little dark, that had a bit of edge to it. The image that I ended up depicting was Harry Dean Stanton placing his hand on Brad Dourif's head, passing on this blessing from God. There was just this look in Brad Dourif's eyes that I really wanted to capture. Shallow Grave, I had a little bit of a different approach to it. I wanted to incorporate sense of foreboding and add a bit of tension, hint at the violence that's about to happen. The film is actually, it starts off a little bit unassuming, and you don't necessarily know that it's going to go into this dark place. And my first pass at it, I drew out this pegboard with all the tools on it.
Let's do it.
I love the scene where the actors are, I believe, in some sort of hardware store like Home Depot or something, and they're just like picking out the various tools that they're going to use to bury the victim. But the first pass I had at it was flat colors, and it was a little bit light. It didn't really have the same sense that I thought the film should have. And Eric suggested that we use a photographer for that, which I thought was also a great idea. We went out, bought a bunch of supplies, and just hung it all up in my studio. It was darker, had a lot more weight. The film has so many shadows, and of course color and light is such a huge part of what he does. So I think that in the end this fit the film a lot better. Working full-time as an artist is, it's the dream, but it is a very, very painful and difficult dream. But I can't see myself doing anything else. I don't have a backup plan. This is it, basically.